Hello, everybody. I'm Messa,
And I'm LJ.
and streaming to you from a golden beach. This is Knack and Jay. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a week where we don't have some major cataclysmic thing to shake everything up.
What? There's not some drama happening right now?
I mean, there's stuff happening, but there's no crazy upheaval, no new news. It's normal. Everyone is doing well this week. Things are okay.
That's a surprise. And also the stream worked. First try.
Very nice.
So
It's great. I love it.
yeah.
I should add a little disclaimer to that. Everyone's doing very well, and there's no drama. Unless you follow Christian Favor's Instagram, where he's still doing his thing
Yeah, no, that's fair.
and like prodding, but it's not really drama so much as just, hey, remember when, he said he would not make another cryptic post until he had concrete news to share about 14B 2020, and we were like, okay, cool, thanks, Faber, you're actually listening to what people want. And then he just changed the hashtag and started making cryptic posts about hashtag Biovival instead.
Mm-hmm.
Good times, man. Good times.
So
That's all it's become.
we're
Yes.
we're gonna start off with the super chat.
All right.
From Sir Perry. $49.99.
My God.
No major issues. Also 25 for LJ and 25 for Keeney.
What? For Keenan? Lasai. I want to die, but thank you anyway.
Thank you, Sir Perry. We appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm for Keeney. That's killing me.
All right, LJ, hit us with the plugs.
Okay, ow. All right. So, a few things. First, don't forget to head on over to TGV message boards, board.tgvchannel.com. We're currently in the midst of our first canonization contest for Helrix. It is contest number 1, the first. No, that's the title of it, because it is trying to determine the form of Toa Helrix, the first Toa ever made. So that's currently running, and it is going to end on, I believe, the 22nd. So get to entering. Bunch of really good stuff there. Of course, you can also join in the discussion for other things. Just make sure you are 13 years or older and you follow our rules. Second, our Patreon. Excuse me. Patreon. Patreon.com/TheTTV channel. Donate as low as $1 a month, and you can join in on the fun as well as our Minecraft server, which include the island of Matanui and the island of Voyanui, with more to come. Additionally, our Twitter, @TheTTV channel, @Messanak, and @The LJ Johnsons, JOHNSEN. And last but not least, BioCup 2020. They're in their new round 1. We're going to make a video about that soon. It started on the 29th, but I was very busy at the time. So check that out. BioCup 2020 is over on Flickr. Round 1 themed matchups began on the 29th, and it ends on June 11th. So make sure check that out. That's everything.
All right. Very nice. So, it's an interesting time. What? What are you chuckling at?
Just, you know what? I'm going to let you take this one.
God. All right. Sir Perry, $24.99. Okay. $24.99 for you, Messa. Don't buy too many candy bars.
My goodness.
You're a very kind individual.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Well, sorry, like I'm off kilter. I don't expect like super chats right out the gate. Makes me all happy.
Whew.
So it's a very interesting time for the community. We are at a point where relatively drama free, exciting things are in the pipeline. We have Sakota's project, which we're still waiting on getting, news about. We have Quest for Matanui and Bionicle Masks of Power, which are in active development. We have the contests on our boards. First one is live, many more to come. And, I gotta say, it's nice. It's pretty nice that there's a bunch of stuff going on in 2020 in the Bionicle community. And that doesn't even begin to scratch the tip of the iceberg. If I went through all the projects, all the things that are circulating in the community on large and small levels, but from groups to like RSG to individuals just doing their own thing. Every time I go on Reddit, I see some crazy mock or something that someone's made in studio, which has become incredibly popular recently. And people have been able to integrate 3D printed or 3D modeled pieces from Shapeways or whatever into the digital building. So people have a wealth of new toys to play with. There's always something new going on in the Bionicle community, and kind of the purpose of this video is a lot of times in NAC and J, we tend to talk about unpleasant things like, oh, why did G2 fail? Or why do fan projects fail? Or Quest for Matanui drama, or copyright fears, or toxicity. And I think it bears some examination of the good aspects of the Bionicle community. Because I feel like a lot of times they get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's human nature, because it's a lot easier to focus on things that are, they're bad and to talk about them at length. Like the amount of mileage that I could get out of talking about why G2 failed versus why I liked the third chapter book of G2. Just to use an example, the amount of discussion mileage are wildly disparate, but both have merit. I liked the third chapter book. It was cool. It had, it gave Kulta some personality, and it gave the Skull villains some backstory, and we had some extra mythos to Okoto, and we had Akimu have a few cool moments, and it felt like a classic Bionicle book adventure in a way that nothing else from G2 really did. And yet, most people forget it exists because it was immediately eclipsed in very short time frame by Journey to One, which became the only thing that really stuck out in people's minds. We have a tendency as people to focus on the negative. It's not always good. Sometimes it's necessary. I'm not going to preach to you about, what's best to focus on, because you all know me. I tend to be quite a nitpicker.
Mm.
I, of course, value
Yes.
finding the negativity in things.
I hadn't
I think you
noticed,
gotta
Messa.
realize, listen, it's important to know what's up and to be real about things. But sometimes you gotta look at the big picture too. We are 20 years after Bionicles debut. Its 20th anniversary is coming soon. I think it's January 2001. Am I right?
So that would be its. Technically, that was its launch, is January 1st. Globally, it launched in July of 2001, and it had a launch. Like, it did launch in places in December of 2000. So, but yeah, we're coming up on it. To make it easy, yeah, it would be January 1st.
Yeah. And that's a big deal because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Bionicle community this year in particular. And it's going to be its 20th anniversary. I would like to pose another interesting fact to you. Out of those 20 years, it's only been a thing for, in totality, 12. The other 8 of those years, Bionicle has been gone. So give it 2 more years, and it'll all equal out. I
Yeah.
guess 4 more years, and it'll all equal out. And yet we're still like thriving. We're not where we used to be. We're not thousands of people online at a given time on BZ Power going crazy about a new book release. But the community is still very much active, if splintered. You know, we've talked about that before. The advent of social media kind of brought forth a divergence from like, hey, everybody hops on a hub site to, all right, we're going to go to Reddit and we're going to go to Facebook and we're going to go to all these different places. And then we're going to make Discord chat subsidiaries for these places. So we have like the Reddit Discord and the Facebook Discord. And then we have like the 4chan and the 4chan Discord, you know, TTV message boards, Flickr, all these different places. But we're all part of the same community, and we might not interact with each other all the time, but it's pretty wide ranging. So what I'd like to figure out in this episode is how are we still a thing, actively creating new content like 20 years after the themes first started, when comparably Hero Factory has been gone for 5 years and was around for 5 years, and it does not even have a community.
Nah, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing for Hero Factory.
Or Legends of Chimo, which was around for 3 years and has no community. They were both Lego. They were all Lego themes. They had fans. They had products. I bought a lot of sets from both, more so HF than Chima, but I had my fair share of Chima sets. And there's gone. So I think a good way to start would be our own experiences and how we, you know, what might be a fun experiment. Let's talk about how we got into the community and what it was like at the start versus how it is now. Let's do a good compare and contrast exercise. LJ, you've been around way longer than I have.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When did you first join the Bionicle community, and how did that actually come about?
So, the first time I joined the community was September 1st, 2005.
Boy.
And... yeah, it's going to be 15 years this year, this September. So I joined to make an account on BZ Power, though I had been lurking well before that. We're talking, oh gosh, I had been online since I started getting involved with Bionicle. We're talking late 2002, early 2003. I don't know which for sure. And so I was online, going through a bunch of things, and BZP always ticked me off because I could never get their images to load fast enough for my liking. And so I'm like, because I'm just online to find out more about the theme and to look at cool pictures. And I can't get any of that because BZP isn't loading fast. Like, come on, oh my gosh. And so it'd always drive me nuts, and I'd always leave. It's like, all right, time to try this again. Still not working. Bye. So I ended up eventually making an account. I would say I seriously started lurking around BZP in 2004. And I made an account a year later to post in a topic for a comic author by the name of Dark709. My first post was in his comics topic. I was super stoked because it's like, oh yeah, he's the most popular comic artist, and I'm going to post there. And I got involved through that. So that's how that began.
My story is substantially more boring, but interesting in a different way. I found the community through accident. Like the time that I found it, I was 11 years old, and I was on the internet. I got a computer for the sole purpose, the sole singular reason of finding Pokemon action replay cheat codes. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Action replay cheat codes, because I really liked Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and I wanted to find Darkrai, Shaman, and Arceus, and I didn't know how to, because come to find out, they never put Arceus in the game officially. You needed the stupid flute. So I wanted to hack them in, and I needed to find cheat codes to hack them in. And I needed an internet to do that. I need internet connection. So I was like, "Mom, can I get a computer?" And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Cause I heard there's a Pokemon and I want it." And it was like, "Sigh. All right, fine."
And that's how
So we
we
looked at the
became
computer.
subjected to you. No, I'm kidding.
And back during those days, I didn't realize you could Google stuff. I uh, I thought everything had to be a .com. I didn't know you could do like search terms. So I was just like PokemonCheatCodes.com, Pokemon ActionReplay.com, and it's like all this different stuff. So it took me a
Gosh.
while to even find out that there was a Bionicle community, because I found the Bionicle website, but of course that was Lego Run. I forget how I actually discovered it. I think it was how I found out that you could actually Google, because I just Googled Bionicle by accident instead of Bionicle.com. And then voila,
That's
BZ
amazing.
Power was up there back then in terms of what you found. And I was completely blown away. This was like summer 2008. I had never even considered, even though I had been a Bionicle fan since it came out because of the fabled McDonald's run, I never even considered the fact that there was a community,
Mm-hmm.
that there was a discussion bed for this thing, because at that point I didn't know what a fandom was. Bionicle was my first exposure to that, really, aside from just people liking things in real life casually. And I spent a good few months going through the news backlog, and I caught myself up on everything that had ever happened in the Bionicle fandom throughout like BZ Power's news archives. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then I made an account on the forums, and I got embroiled in all sorts of stupid shenanigans, like comedies and writing and games and trivia and the Vaki fad, where everybody changed their names to be Vaki related things and went around backseat moderating and being a nuisance to the staff members, trying to be like forum police. And I think what I was most caught off guard by was the sense of camaraderie that you could find in the Bionicle community. It was an unexplainable sense of pure passion. Wow, yeah, Keeney and Mange are part of this Vaki fad. That is how I met them. That is the origin of TTV. I was Unit MSNK
Oh my
1110.
gosh. It's yeah, no, I really want to. I need to get a new picture for this because I want to try and change the pictures to different things. But
Get Vaki.
no, I'm not gonna get Vaki. I'm gonna get BZP's. You know what? Maybe I'll get, yeah. I'll go ahead and I'll get the BZP Tohu logo.
Oh yeah.
There, that'll do. So anyway, I really like that one point you made. There really was a sense of camaraderie. Like obviously there was still drama.
Yeah.
Like things still. Oh gosh dang it! I screwed it up again.
You got this.
Hang on. All right. Did that work? Did that work? Come on. Nope. I'm sorry. I'm being a perfectionist.
You're
Which
all
is
right.
hilarious.
I understand. It's important.
Okay. All right. There we go. Tohu. Hapori Tohu.
Oh yeah, Hapori Tohu.
Okay. So there really was a sense of camaraderie. Now, obviously, there was drama. You know, it's just bound to happen because you have a lot of different personalities and different people just being a part of things and trying to occupy the same space and do different things, especially in the creative side of things, which is why at no point do I ever want to be an artist. You have the comics form, you have sprite kits, you have general artwork back when all of those were three different forms. But you also had storyline and theories. You had comedies, epics, roleplay.
The
They're
Bionicle
just
RPG scene was wild.
RPGs. Exactly. And you still had a bunch of different other things. Like you had hacker groups. You had groups that were into espionage, corporate
God.
espionage and messing with things. And then you had staff drama, and you had all sorts of different things. But everyone still mostly got along. Like, those are rarer instances. But for the most part, everyone was kind of fine. Everyone was happy, you know?
It was
Everyone.
difficult to put a finger on it, but everybody just flocked to Bionicle and the Bionicle fandom because there was something special there. There was an X factor. People didn't like Bionicle because it was Lego. People liked it because it was Bionicle, and the Lego elements were just like icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something about it specifically, and a lot of people point to different things. We talked about that before. We're like, oh, it's the story. Oh, it's the atmosphere. It's the world building. It's the construction building system. It's the collectible masks. Everybody has their own different reason why Bionicle is special for them. But the fact was that it resonated with people on a deeper level than just liking it. It didn't become like nobody could accuse Bionicle of being a casual hobby, if that makes any sense. Like every now and then I get the desire to play Halo. I like playing Halo. Playing Halo is fun. I know a lot about Halo. I know, story. I know balance changes. I keep up to date with trailers. But I'm not in the Halo community. I'm not posting every day about the deep meaning behind the Arbiter and his character arc. I'm not making fan art of Master Chief and Cortana or doing self insert Spartan OCs or making Halo music videos or any of this. Halo is a casual hobby of mine.
Mm-hmm.
It never broke into that more dedicated sphere. And again, you can be a casual fan of Bionicle and still be in the community, like I've said before. But there is that sense of deeper investment. There was a term used, I think by Lego before, but I know we've used it over the years as well. It's a high affinity users
Mm-hmm.
is like when you break into that upper echelon. And the fact of the matter is, Bionicle was ripe with potential for that, more so than arguably any other Lego theme ever. And a lot of it was to do with the story because there's a lot of stuff to discuss. A lot of it was due to the media because they were always released a bunch of video games or cool commercials, and different people have different ones. What would you say is like the biggest thing about Bionicle that really made it impact you?
What do you
I know
mean
we've talked about
impact
this
me?
before. Okay, so take one thing away because I know we've said the core of Bionicle is the sets because they're a product, which I agree with. But like, if you take one thing away from Bionicle, like what would you miss the most if it was gone?
Oh, that's an interesting spin on that
It's
question.
it's a little bit different than people normally approach it. Like, what's that most important element that you value the most? It's kind of a difficult thing to pin down, but feel free to like answer as well in the chats if any of you have like that one thing that you'd miss the most.
Yeah, I can't say it's the sets because I mean they've been gone for most of the time, so I'm good there. Like I've got enough of them. I'm fine. Um,
Dang.
gosh,
It's a hard one, but I think it's
I
important.
don't know. I mean,
I know.
I would say just I know this is kind of vague, but it is the story. It is the continuation of new content.
Hmm. I mean, I think that would be my answer as well if I had to say, but it goes a little bit more in depth because you can say like those other themes I mentioned. Chima had a story. Hero Factory had a story. It's not so much that Bionicle's story was good or bad, because it's not like it's, Tolkien level
No.
high fantasy. What?
Now, it's an engaging story, something that engages its audience in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up.
What's
We have
up?
more super chats.
We actually have, yeah, two more.
Sir Perry, $24.99. But then in the post he says $99.99. Oh, I guess it's in totality.
Yeah.
Although I grew up with Bionicle, it wasn't until 2018 that I started being a part of the community, making my own Toa self-mock and commissioning Nikon to make me a reference so I can make my self-mock into a 3D model. And also Sir Perry, $2.99, super chat.
That's a compelling message there. Super chat? That's a...
Super chat!
Oh, jeez. Also, to the commenter, the best, who said, I'll happily take all your sets. I appreciate that. I think I'll hold on to them. But thank you. If I do need to send them anywhere, then I know who to consider.
Elder's gonna sell them one day and just make a ton of money.
Yeah, no, that is my plan. Like one day in a couple of decades, maybe a few more than that. I do.
Decades?
Well, yeah. Yeah, what? I'm not going to
A couple of decades, maybe a few more.
Yeah, maybe in like 40 years, I'll sell them, and they're going to go for a lot of money. It's going to be awesome.
I literally, I just want to point this out real quick, side tangent. I looked up the prices for Bionicle G2 sets on eBay. Even the Skull villains, which are pretty low in terms of desirability, Skull Scorpio, just like a week ago, sold for like $30.
That's good to know.
Skull Scorpio. Random, totally unrelated side tangent. I bought 4 Skull Scorpios back when they were on clearance. I just have them sitting around.
Wait, in box?
Yeah. eBay time.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway.
Okay.
It's less about the story being good or bad, because Bionicle isn't like high fantasy Tolkien literature, and it's also not like a story for babies. It walks the middle ground. It's got villains, it's got heroes, it's got characters, it's got a plot. It's generally cohesive. There's lore, but there's also plenty of dumb stuff, like Tuyet or 2005. Or the Toa Nuva being bested by the Paraka, or like stuff that's debatable or generally regarded as maybe that could have done a bit better. It's not like it's flawless, but I think LJ hit the nail on the head when he said that the point was that it was engaging. The story acted as a vessel for Bionicle to move from year to year, for things to change, for new sets to come out, for new locations to crop up, new venues for the story to take. It was the ride. The story was the ride that we all went on to engage with the product, and it carried us from point to point. And I think what's most important for people to realize is that what it did was it caused momentum. And eventually, as we went on that ride, we developed our own momentum. The community did. To the point where, even though the story has been on pause for like 10 years, we never stopped. Because we got hooked. We got the Bionicle fever. We grew acclimated to how that works. That constant sense of discussion, that constant sense of creativity, using something else as a framework. Because it was always like, okay, 2008 rolls around, and the Toa Nuva come in, and they fight the Makuta. And we can talk about that, but then we can also extrapolate from that. You can make mocks. You can make your own Makuta OCs. You can introduce those. You can make fan art. You can make, I don't know, some kind of parody of the 2008 story. You can make comics, sprites based off the 2008 characters. What's that? They released commercials for 2008? Time to make a new music video using the commercials from 2008. Oh, what's that? New sets? Well, I can integrate them into my stop motions. it carries on. Every year of Bionicle added new parts, it added new components to the community machine. And the fact that we had 10 years worth of mostly good stories, 2005 and 2010 weren't so crash hot. And then even G2 with the sets, it gave us fuel. It gave the community fuel, and that hasn't burnt out quite yet. Now, the interesting thing to really examine is, where that's still going on, and it's 2020, and a lot of it is sparked by, if I'm going to be honest, a lot of it's sparked by Greg.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people undervalue Greg's role, but having one of the architects, having one of the people who managed the whole thing, participate in the community, and not just participate like passively, but like in the example of the canon contests, he sanctions and supports the community integrating with the story. And for a lot of people, that's a bad thing. But I never saw it as a bad thing. I think it could get overreaching, sure, if people go nuts with it. And they're like, hey, we got to do the 6 Toa of ice on the Toa Mangai.
Don't even get me started. Somebody really wanted that. Somebody wanted us to do a contest for the Mangai, and I'm just, we're not doing it.
It's not happening. But used sparingly, which it has been, I think it's one of Bionicle's greatest assets.
Yeah.
It is community integration and participation in a way that makes people feel involved and makes them feel encouraged to keep doing what they're doing. Sometimes to make it into canon, but it's less about that to me, or at least that's never so much how I interpreted it. It's not that I want to get my mock into canon. It's about I support the concept, and I like that creativity is respected, if that makes any sense. It's the difference between liking the ideology and just wanting to get famous because, oh, my mock made it in, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's really interesting because it goes to show what you're talking about. Because before the first contest started, before the Hellrex contest began, everyone was all worried. Everyone was all trepidatious. There's so much panic and concern. Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't think this is going to go well, guys. Oh, man, it's just going to be a beat-down, drag-out fight, and people are just going to be all upset and mean and angry. We still had, like, somebody posting in the contest video. I'll go get the post real quick.
Oh, boy.
For when it began. Without naming names, they said, no support. This kind of behavior is not inclusive and demotes creativity and mystery. And I didn't bother responding to it. It would have been a waste of my time because that comment is wrong. Like, there are just some things that are wrong. Like, the one aspect of it that I can understand, and it's like, all right, you know what, fair enough. Maybe there's a bit of a point there. Is it is in direct conflict with mystery. You're right. It is. So it's a good thing that we're focusing on characters whose appearances aren't a mystery, they just aren't known. Isn't that awesome? Yes. Because I've been seeing post upon post upon post on the Bionicle subreddit. Like this one, 13 hours ago. All of your Hellrex mocks got me motivated and inspired to make my own. And I think they're planning on entering. They haven't yet, but that's not the only one that I've seen with that verbiage. Like, hey, I'm inspired so much by all these other people making them, I decided to join in. Like, even if they don't enter, they're still making something. They're being engaged. They're creating. They're participating. Maybe not directly, but they're a part of something that's happening in the community. Something exciting, something new. That's great. That's awesome. Like, even if they don't enter, like, I hope they do, because we've got a little over 30 entries right now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I like 30 ones that we've officially accepted. Some people need to really pay attention to the rules and follow them so that we can accept them. But we're still getting stuff. where we've got 30 entries, and yet people are making more, and that's the thing. They're having fun, even if they aren't going for the gold, as it were. They are active, and that is the entire point.
Again, and okay, first of all, Swirt says, I swear, as the owner of BSM1, I'll never accept the Trin Curl injury from any source. He doesn't need it. First of all, bruh.
First of all,
Second
do
of
we want to do
all,
this again?
we're not doing how to dance this dance. But second of all, don't worry, we agree.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's something to be said about respecting the mystery of characters who are explicitly deemed to be mysterious, and Trin Chrome is definitely one of those examples. But again,
Exactly.
it's less about the specifics of like canon contests. It's about what they represent. And it's the reason why I was always so passionate about it. Like, not to make the whole episode about that again, because we already did one where we extolled the merits of those, but like, this is why. This is my viewpoint if I'm trying to explain it to people who might not agree. The fact that creativity is sanctioned by the thing that you love, not even in a, oh, hey, that's cool kind of a way, or we support our engaging fans, blanket statement, but in a, you become part of this kind of a way. I think that is excellent, and I think it's Bionicle. Like I said, nobody followed Lego because if somebody followed Bionicle because it was Lego, they followed it for Bionicle. But that's one of the ways in which it incorporates and really makes good use of it being Lego, because Lego is all about creativity. Bionicle is all about a story and an engaging narrative, and Bionicle merged the two in a way that was really awesome in terms of the community. And seeing that validated, both in terms of things like the canon contests, but also even as far back as the Dark Hunter book, the Rahi book, the encyclopedias. They didn't really, I mean, I guess they had those characters in them, not so much anything else, but the short story contests, the mock contests, it started early and it continued throughout the theme's life. And you can dislike one or the other, but the fact that it was a thing to me speaks to the Bionicle community and what it took from all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that momentum has carried because people are like, all right, cool. It matters what we do. It matters how creative we are. It matters the awesome stuff that we do. Let's make more. Versus if I go make a Hero Factory mock and I call him, oh, I don't know, Nathan Storm. And Nathan Storm is a weather control hero. And Nathan Storm can make, tornadoes with his hand and call down lightning. And he can do all sorts of crazy stuff. And Nathan Storm actually has a deep distrust of the factory. And he doesn't really like it a whole lot. He likes to do his own thing and follow his own justice and his internal code. And sometimes that means that he runs in conflict with the factory and what they want to do. I could make that whole OC. I could do that, and I could write a story about that, but who would care? If I posted that, who would actually care? Nobody, because Hero Factory does not have a community. So you might ask, why does Hero Factory, which was a thing that was founded on the idea of sanctioning creativity, all the way back to the call center, why did it not have a long-lasting community? Well, it ties back into what Eljo is saying about the story. It didn't have a good story. It didn't have a backbone. It did not have a consistent, ongoing narrative backbone shepherding somebody through the franchise. It did not have that ride. It did not have that tour. And it also was very detached. Its creators never had a presence anywhere. Its creators never participated in the creativity except for like the first year. Hero Recon Team exists in a weird gray area because it was very impersonal but like I could talk for a whole hour about that.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't have that same kind of backbone. You need a reason to make you care, and you need your caring to then be respected in kind. And Bionicle had both. It literally had basically perfect synergy for a while. A lot of people view that like after a time, Greg, overstepped a little bit. I don't personally agree, but I think there is some merit to the discussion of things maybe got a little too crazy in the last few years. But column A, column B, point being, it was mostly successful.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, we did get another super chat from Sir
Oh
Perry.
boy.
$4.99, who said, "I'ma aim my Ninra Ghost Blaster at Mesa for dissing 2005. 2005 was great." First of all, thank you. We do appreciate it. Again, still, any amount, always appreciated. Also, that could be its own Knack and Jay.
Let's do it. Let's add it to the list.
Okay. 2005, that is a package with a wealth of information to unpack. Okay.
So,
yeah. No,
next.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
No, mine's going off. Did you have something to say?
Oh, no, I just agree. It is a matter of engagement, and there are still things to engage with now. There's just plenty of stuff to still do, and that speaks highly to its depth.
Well, the other thing is, and I mean, I guess you can see this in the thumbnail even, is the fact that Bionicle, it sounds like I'm painting a pretty picturesque view. Like, oh, Bionicle community was perfect, and we had it made, and it was great, and we had epic synergy, but we really didn't. Bionicle was always the redheaded stepchild of Lego, even back when it saved the company, because it did so in a way that was inconsistent with their normal way of doing things. Some Lego purists, Lego AFOLs and whatnot, never really accepted it as being real Lego. It never got the same kind of widespread, evergreen respectability as like Lego City or Lego Star Wars or Lego Pirates or Lego Castle. It was its own thing. It wasn't Lego Bionicle. It was Bionicle for all the good and bad that brought. And over time, as the years went on, its budget began to decrease. The movies went away. The books were cut down. Slowly, it started to kind of chip away. The Legend Reborn kind of hoped to save things by kickstarting a new movie trilogy, but then that didn't work out, and it got canceled, which was a really big blow. People's hopes were raised by going like, "Oh, don't worry, Greg will still continue the story." Lego said that to us, and that didn't really pan out how we hoped. So there were years of basically nothing going on, and those were pretty dark times. I'm not going to lie on that. It feels like we had less stuff going on in like 2013 than we do in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we got a second wind. And then, of course, it came back, and that was incredible. And that breathed a new life into the community. And I think G2, a lot of the current community's good state is owed to G2 in a weird kind of roundabout way. Because even though it fell flat on its face so hard it dug through the ground into the Earth's core and got incinerated, it was the shot in the arm that people needed. It brought a lot of people back. It got the community active again to the point where plenty of people were still doing things after the fact.
Yeah. It helped kick us into gear. I want to touch upon that in just a sec. First, we did get another super chat from Tarkor's Channel of Random Things, who donated 20 Swedish krona. So thank you, first of all, with this message, quote, G1 aesthetic, end quote, with a laughing, squinting face with tongue, as YouTube calls it. So,
thank you, man.
Thank you so much. We sincerely do appreciate it.
Dim Crones.
Also, Yeah, that's basically about right. G1 aesthetic. Anyway,
Basically.
yeah.
What are you thinking about when it comes to us?
So when it comes to us, G2's revitalization kind of drove us to make the website,
That's true.
the TTV channel, TTV message boards rather. And it's kind of
Technically, we made it before.
we made it
Or we were
before it
gonna
came
make it.
we made it before it came out. We were working on it and we made it before G2 released, but the message boards were created on July. Was it June or July? Let me double check. I think it was July 8th. Oh gosh, I hope it's not June 8th. I mean,
Oh
it's in
boy.
like 2 days.
Somebody find the message board's
No. I
anniversary.
got it. Okay, yeah, it's July 8th. And
Alright.
when did the leaks come out?
It was early June.
Yeah, it was early June. So, about a month or so, and we created the message boards. And that has prospered and persisted. And they're not going to like me saying this. And I don't mean to offend them. Some of their staff already don't really like what we're doing with the contest anyway, because of how we structured the rules and engaged with the entire community in order to make them work for as many people as possible.
Sorry, not sorry.
Um, I mean, we are modern day BZP, because what BZP did was back in the day it brought the community to one place, and it did a fantastic job of doing that. It allowed the community to congregate, to aspire to great heights, to just really endure and enjoy everyone else's company and create this culture that I don't think anyone has really recaptured. And eventually it had its time, and Bionicle ended, and it was hit with a few different issues, and then it kind of just petered out. Right now, where we are is we're doing our best to kind of continue that, carry on the torch, bring as many people into one spot to congregate and create, and just have a place to be that is active and still do things with. It's not the largest. Maybe it isn't even the most active. But it is a place for people to be in to continue conversations and discussions and ask Greg Farsty questions, which is something BZP had for the longest time.
I mean, it's good to have a place like that where people can go. And we never, like, when we started the podcast, it's kind of funny to think about. Like, I know we always mention this in like our anniversary specials and whatnot, but the vast amount of early TTV was actually post Bionicle. Like our IBZP predecessor podcast was during that, wrote out the end. But when we decided to scrap IBZP and start, the Three Virtues podcast, that was well after Bionicle had ended. That was even after the second comic. So we made the choice to go for 4 years in the absence of Bionicle. Just because it was fun and we wanted to participate in the community and we wanted to give back. It was kind of aimless for a little bit because we didn't really have much to talk about. Like a lot of our early podcast episodes, they're a little iffy because we try to talk about Hero Factory and we truly give it our best, but there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. So we kind of just end up floating aimlessly, and we'll try to talk about some Lego system things, but that was before any of us really liked that. So we didn't really have much to say unless there was Bionicle news or Bionicle cereal or Greg answering some stuff. But we went for years, and thankfully it wasn't all just killing time, because there was the point where we started the new content initiative, and we had stuff like Bionicle Autopsy and the recap reviews, which came out to be like, hey, instead of just doing podcasts, let's give back to the community and do videos. Let's take advantage of having a platform on YouTube and do like video content. But if G2 hadn't come back, I don't really, if Bionicle hadn't come back with G2, rather, I don't know where we would have ended up necessarily. I don't know what our trajectory would have gone down as. I know you would have finished the recaps, but I don't know past that point what we would have done. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Because it rejuvenated us and it gave us more value and it kind of brought the community back together, even if for just a little while. And we got caught up in the whirlwind and the maelstrom and just so happened to be in the spot it's at, but to be at the center of everything. But when I think about the community and how resilient it is, I'm just like, it would have been very easy for everything to collapse with G2. Because if G2 was the only reason people came back together, if G2 was the only reason that we came together and the Bionicle community was doing anything anymore, theoretically, when that went away, it should have been the end of it. Because it's not like G2 gave us much to work with. It's not like you see people, making G2 fan fiction all that much. I know some exists, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly a part influx and an experiment of art styles, really. That's what I remember about G2. I remember good visuals and good sets.
Yeah.
But it continued. It didn't just continue. Got better. Things are better now than they were back in 2017. Somehow we're on an upward trajectory. And going back to the title of the video, I gotta admire how resilient the Bionicle community is in that respect. We get so focused on its problems, we don't really highlight that, hey, it would have been really easy for people to just give up, call it quits, go home, and the community would slowly peter out over the years, like other themes have, and like Chima did, and Hero Factory did, and all these other franchises. But people are still going. A lot of old faces are still around. It's not just new people. A lot of old people too. It's really something else. And I think it stands as a testament to an idea that I spoke about a while ago, directly after G2 ended, when I said that the spirit of Bionicle extends past its core, because the core is undeniably the sets. But like I said, you start that momentum. Eventually, you keep it. If you go on for long enough, even if you get derailed, even if you fly off the tracks, keep that momentum. Keep going. And that's what we're doing. Sets have been gone for years. Story's been gone for even longer. Story that people actually cared about anyway. The G1 story. And yet we have a Hellrix contest in 2020 and people are participating.
Yeah. No, a lot of people.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does help a lot of the time, though, to have stuff to talk about. Like, it really, really does. And that was kind of one of the reasons we wanted to have these contests, or we didn't want to start them. Like, we didn't seek them out. There we go. We didn't seek them out. We helped facilitate them after interest was kind of brought to the surface. So,
yeah,
it's why we were so interested, though, because this gives people something to talk about. There are things happening. It's why I also love the Bio Cup. Like, it's a large community-wide project. It's a contest and tournament. That's fantastic. That's exactly what everyone needs, and it's been going on for a while, and it's great. That's exactly what we need. It's stuff to do, stuff to engage with, and that's another reason Bionicle G2, it's not going to be remembered fondly much down the line. It's hard to engage with it. The most engaging aspect of it that I found was that push toward the end to figure out the instructions or figure out the build for Makuta G2, Journey to 1 Makuta. I still just remember all of us as a group just going from store to store in Virginia. All right, do we have as many of the sets as we need here? Okay, let's go to this store. Maybe Toys R Us will have them. No. What about Target? What about Walmart? It's like we just kept bouncing.
So I mean, I remember plenty of good things from G2, but they were ethereal. They were meta. I don't remember a single moment in G2 that spoke to me as like, oh, I really resonate with this character or this story or this plot thread. But I remember New York Comic Con, and I remember the panel, and I remember the Lego store, and I remember us freaking out in call about the leaks, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember the day it came back and the friggin' Mask of Creation spinning 3D video. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember us all getting in call at like 2 a.m. to watch the first 2 episodes of Journey to One and loving it. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember us getting in call to watch the last 2 episodes of Journey to One and hating it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Biotalk book club. We went over the books and painstakingly analyzed them, and we're optimistic because each one was better than the last. Only for that to not go anywhere. But
They were
I
good.
remember that time when people posted leaks to our boards, but they didn't want to post the actual images, so they decided to draw them out. Like
I vaguely
I
recall that.
remember, I remember all this crazy stuff that went down as a result of Bionicle G2 that are just they're good memories. They're lodged up there. So I can never look back on it entirely and be like, oh, this was devoid of enjoyment, because there was a heck of a lot of enjoyment to be had,
Oh yeah.
even if the actual theme didn't have so much by itself. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good thing as well. It's you got to make the lemonade out of the lemons you have, even if a few aren't too great.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of not great. We've covered that very well.
Yeah, but there were good things as well. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look at the history of the community, I look at where we are, and I'm pretty happy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
A
I'm
lot of
happy. There are still some issues, obviously, and those will persist no matter what. There are still going to be problems, people being issues, people disliking something just for the sake of it, or even people disliking something because we're doing it. It's like, all
which
right,
has happened recently with the canon contests.
oh yeah, no, absolutely, and you know what? That's fine, but a lot of the times those people just want nothing. They don't want anything. They just want status quo. Just let us perpetually die off, dry up. Like, okay, well, you're not being productive. You're not really helping anything. So we're gonna go ahead and do that.
I think my favorite part was I think it was somebody on the Quest for Montanui Discord server. Somebody was like, "I hate that TTV is doing these contests because they're going to be biased, and the mocks that they like are going to win." And I'm like, dude,
You didn't
do
you
you
didn't even
even
try.
do you even know what the contests are? Do you even know how they're going to be conducted?
No,
Did you bother to read more than like 5 words?
no.
Because if you did, you'd know it was voting.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna say this here. We'll say this. I'm sure numerous different times in the future. We cannot control the numbers when it comes to how many people vote in these contests. We can't change them. Like when we put up a poll topic, we put up the poll and that's that. We can vote in the poll, but at no point can we alter any of the numbers. So we can't make it so that ours wins or that the one we like wins. That's it. And because it's a poll, we can't control that. It's a poll. It's public. We're not judging. We're not judges. Like there are no the judges are the voters. So if you want one to win, vote. It's as simple as that. And I'll tell you right now, we're less inclined to try and touch the poll topics once we've made them, because if we screw it up at all, or accidentally delete something, the only way we alter anything is to accidentally delete the poll. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the risk.
which isn't going to happen. Don't worry.
No. We've been down this road before. We're good. So
I just think it's good, man. The Bionicle community is not perfect, but it's really good for what it is. It's been alive and kicking for so many years. I'm curious how many more years it will be going for. Hopefully, at some point, something good happens with it again, like in an official sense, be it comes back or we get that Sakota set or something. But if that doesn't happen, at least we have a bunch of cool fan stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
We got contests for months. We got creative challenges. We have games. It's good, man. And then, of course, we have Biovival.
Stop it.
That's a thing.
You knock that off.
I mean, it's kind of related in a sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, let
Like,
give me just a second. We'll get into that. 2 more super chats.
oh my god.
Sir Perry, with $10 or $9.99, says this: 2005 gave us some great Titans, new colors, Keat Orange, and a lot more interesting parts. Also, I'll give Who Can Draw My Toa self-mock pointing a Ghost Blaster Meso $20. First of all, thank you. Also, I will refrain so that way we can discuss it for an episode. The next one is from Miles Dracova 1112, who donated $20. Who said, "Keep up the good work. Cultivating a healthy community can be tough." Trust me, you have no idea. Hey, man. Thank you so much.
Dang.
What? I'm sorry. I don't like reading this guy's comments. But Creepy Biotube Stalker posted, "At least we have Little Brotherhood Studios." Yeah. Yeah, we do. Sure.
Oh boy. Do we really have them though?
Yeah. Yeah, once every, I don't know, 2.5 months to show us a new reanimation of Omnimo versus the Snake.
Don't get me wrong, they're cool. But
yeah.
they're not exactly a presence.
It was.
They're like Little Brotherhood Studios is like the actual Bionicle community's version of Christian Faber.
That's a great way of putting it.
Like every few months, Faber will tweet out some old piece of concept art with a new like caption, and I mean it's cool art. It's really good art. Dude's a good artist. Dude's a good concept man. But I just keep waiting for like the next step. Little Brotherhood Studios and Project Toa is very much the same. But if it ever does come out, I will be very happy.
I will be impressed. That would be a true testament to their perseverance, because right now we don't have anything for it. There's nothing. There isn't a darn thing. And every time I try to ask them, "Hey, would you like to talk to me about it, like on my show?" they either tell me no because they didn't understand what I was asking or didn't understand the premise, or they just delete my comment. So that's awesome.
Epic.
Thanks so much. I'm glad you're very invested.
I love it.
Anyway,
I think the Faber angle is an interesting angle.
It's upsetting.
Faber, yeah. But what's upsetting directly? There's a bunch of different things.
It's upsetting because it's so far gone what we were most concerned about when it first started. Like you and I were going, well, I really hope that he reveals it and it isn't anything. And then everyone gets bitter toward him. I think it's worse than that now, because instead of just revealing something and everyone being disappointed, he is continuing to drag people along. Like, it hasn't stopped. It went from #14B2020 to #Biovival. I'm not gonna have any other update. I'm not gonna post any other cryptic messages until it's either thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay? Awesome. I'm on board. I'm great. About 14B2020. Now, Biovival, though. Oh, gosh dang it! It's like it's just changed form. It's been molded into something else to drag people along.
We got another super chat from Sir Perry, 4.99. I'm serious about that 20 thing. I will turn Meso into candy bars. Dear God, man. Yeah,
Thank you.
like Faber, it's a tough one, man. Because Faber obviously sees the same angles that we do about the community. He obviously sees all the things that we've talked about why it's cool. It's like they're perseverant. What?
Sakota reminded me, legend go, everybody. Rocket
Don't
ship.
worry. I'm getting to that. We
Okay,
haven't even
alright.
talked about that yet. But yeah,
Alright.
that's a thing. He sees the same angles that we do. He sees creativity, passion, perseverance, um, all cool stuff. He's creative, everybody is. He wants them on board. He sees the Bionicle community's potential to keep something afloat, to provide enough interest to sustain something, even when it's not actively running. Which is, I think, why he's trying so much to appeal to us, and he's trying so much to be relevant to us. I think part of it is because he wants, to carry on the torch of Bionicle. Obviously, I'm not to say that he has no investment in it himself. He freaking worked on it. But you know what I mean? I think that's only half of his interest. I think the other half is he sees the Bionicle community for what it is and all of its good attributes, and he kind of wants that on his side. He wants the Bionicle community invested in everything he does, be it Bionicle or other things, since he was the architect of Bionicle. But to get to that point, there's an olive branch. He needs something that connects Bionicle to other things, which is why I think he's all about reimagining the concept to fit in the bigger picture of the other stuff he's working on thematically, aka environmentalism, rebel nature, etc. If he could retool Bionicle and fit that, even if it's not a like rebel nature like we've said it was in the past, related enough to where people who might be interested in Bionicle might then be interested in rebel nature, the stuff he's working on. And I don't like that because I get it logically, but instead all we have is a year and 2 months of smoke and mirrors and nothing, just vapor in the wind, as Oscabot makes a picture in the chat
Here, I'll
of
go
vapor.
and I'll put this up.
Which
I
is
love I love the way Azkabat's done the from the creators of Bionicle in the lower right hand corner. Creator of Bionicle.
yeah, so good.
That's sorry, the maker of Bionicle. Bulk vapor.
Like
Love it.
seriously, Faber's whole ideology is he as a person is trying to do what the Bionicle community has done as a community. He's trying to sustain interest in a concept in lieu of official products. He's trying to do it for his own stuff, but he's also trying to do it for the potential of what might be done in the future. And it doesn't work that way. You can't do it in reverse, like we've already talked about. The only reason Bionicle has the momentum to make that work is because we had the product. We had the backbone. We had the thing that took us for a ride that created that momentum. Faber does not. We haven't gotten to that point yet because there's no product. When I first saw this idea of 14B 2020, I was like, this could be the best thing ever. One of the guys behind Bionicle either wanting to reboot it under his direct creative vision or wanting to integrate the fans into the birth of something new, kind of like it, by doing surveys or polls or having discussions with influential, people who can get community aggregate opinions to figure out what the best route to take would be. What elements from old Bionicle could be in this new thing? What would the community actually want? Would they be willing to follow a new IP or not? A measured approach, leveraging community support, yes, but also gathering opinions and things to actually do something with, to enact a concrete vision. Instead, we get recaptioned decade old concept art for a year. That's nothing. That's smoke and mirrors. It's vapor in the wind.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the product. If he released a cool product, doesn't even have to be Bionicle. It could be Rebel Nature. If Rebel Nature comes out and people are like, this is awesome, I love it. And then he's like, cool, because I have these other ideas now. Then people can look at that and say, well, this was awesome. I'd totally be willing to follow him through on anything else he does. Let's just make all of Faber's dreams become reality. But instead, he outright admitted several days ago that the reason that he has so many things up and running is because he doesn't know which ones are actually going to stick. Like he replied to somebody in a comment, and they asked him, I'm a little worried that you might have too much going on between Rebel Nature and a game and a movie short and a series and something to do with VR and world building. And now you're talking about reviving Bionicle. You're one guy. How can you do all this? And he's like, I need more horses in the stable. I don't know which one will run.
Okay.
He's literally just throwing like darts at a board.
Right now, I think what he needs is more walnuts in the tree. It's just so old. I'm so fed up with it. I don't even like talking about it at this point because to me it's like Destiny. It just recycles things and treats its audience like trash.
Yeah. And like he makes really good inspirational posts. Like he's been plugging the Bio Cup. He made this post
Great,
like
awesome.
Elga alluded to a bit ago with a prototype Kanohi Ignika on like the rocks. And he's like, it can't stay lost. Its power's too strong. Biovival 2020. It's a tribute to all you fans that keep the legend alive and build and create amazing creations for the Bio Cup and beyond. You are the foundation for the next adventure. Legend go, rocket ship. And like the L and the E are capitalized, so it's like Lego.
That
I'm like,
I hate that.
it's not like he doesn't get all the things that we've already talked about. It's not like he doesn't understand what makes the Bionicle community so special and resilient and willing to still be creative for this thing. But he's trying to reverse engineer it to be successful the other way around. And you simply cannot do that. Because if your hype engine is sustained on like smoke and mirrors and a promise, it's not going to have that momentum. You haven't built the momentum yet. It's going to burn out. Bionicle, I can talk, 14 years after the fact about 06. We did it recently. We carried on a discussion about 06. We can hold contests for characters that never got visuals. You can talk about why the Toa Mata are so awesome. We can make Biocraft. Or we can go play Craney's 2001 game when that comes out. All these things can be possible because of the momentum. It's already been built. It's already been established. The community is just doing their own thing with it. They're just spinning the web. Faber isn't. He's just, there's nothing. It's empty. And I'm more than a little perturbed by how he promised us that he got it. He got how annoying the cryptic teasers were, to the point where he was going to stop talking about them. And then instead, he continues talking about them, just with a different hashtag.
Like, who likes these? Who's out there looking for these and being like, oh, gee, I can't wait for my next cryptic teaser from Christian Faber so that I know zero. This way I know just as little as I did the last time. This way
There's a
he's
bunch
given
of
me
people.
some sense of hope. Oh boy, oh he said something that might mean Lego is involved. Oh my gosh, he really shouldn't do that.
He got like 1,700 likes on one of his recent concept art pieces, which was actually new. So there are some people who do enjoy this. I just don't see how. Like, I enjoy I enjoy the idea of Faber being like, "Hey, I'm gonna join the Bionicle community and I'm gonna help you guys keep it alive with new exciting initiatives." That's all well and good, and it feeds into what we've already talked about, just how it's being handled. But I think it's too far gone at this point to save it in the public eye until he actually does something. Like April 1st was his chance, and he blew it big time. And even that could have been salvaged if he had kept to his word and was like, I'm not going to talk about it again until I have something new to share. But even that's gone. So my recommendation, honestly, like, I know this might sound counterproductive. Don't, and I know we've already talked about it, but just don't go crazy. Don't feed into the Faber hype machine. He is a creative man. He is an artist trying to get something off the ground. He's already doing it. He has a Rebel Nature series that's in production. It's already been approved. It's already gone to series. There's already a network that's going to pick it up. Let that be the proof. Let that be the thing to be like, all right, Faber, this is your modern day story. This is your vision. How it goes. If Rebel Nature's cool, maybe then his name will get out there. Maybe he'll then be able to do other things. But we as a community should really focus our discussion and our efforts on concrete things that people are actually doing to enrich the Bionicle community. Things like the Bio Cup, things like Canon Contests, things like the games that are being developed, things that are being created using that momentum that Bionicle gave to keep the engine powered, if you want to use that analogy. Faber has not achieved that yet, and I don't think he understands why he's become kind of a running joke in a lot of facets of the community, and that makes me sad because whatever he achieves, I wish him the best. He clearly has ambition, but I can't begin to quantify how much I disagree with how it's been handled, and I think we should just remove ourselves from it, which is why we don't talk about it as much. I mentioned it today because it's relevant, but like, there's a reason we've just kind of stopped bringing it up, except to make jokes. It's because how many times are you going to say the same thing, really? And that's what every single post is. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to focus on the good stuff, the stuff that's actually going on in the Bionicle community for Bionicle. We do not need Bionicle G3 to be successful. It'd be cool, but we don't need it. We're doing fine. We're doing fine on our own. Just everybody keep doing what you are doing, what you have been doing.
Yeah,
I think we'll be okay.
pretty much.
And keep your fingers crossed for Sakota.
Yeah, no, that is very important. We still don't have an update. We don't know when we're gonna have an update. It's very irritating. We don't know anything yet. So
Are we at like the 7-month mark? Like, wasn't it in December that this thing got 10,000?
no, it was in October.
Oh my god. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because the project started on October 3rd, I think. And 24, 25 days later, it hit 10,000.
You're right, October 30th. Oh my god, we're 8 months in.
Yeah. We're 8 months in, and if this is going to like meet the mark of 10 years, it needs to be out by January.
Well,
Unless they gun for like the global launch, which is July of 2021. So
I mean, it might be a thing like with the Steamboat Mickey, like that actually production prototypes of that set actually leaked on like Instagram before it was even announced as being approved.
Jeez.
Um, so they already started the design and then just withheld the announcement because they wanted it closer to the actual release. Might be a similar situation here.
Possibly.
Assuming it's even approved, it's probably just not. But
Yeah. Hold
at
out
the end
hope.
of the day, that's all I have to say on today's subject.
Yeah, I think that to kind of condense things, it's just the way you survive as a community is having something to engage with. And Bionicle has done that better than many other themes prior to and after it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it engaged everyone really well. Engaged. We're still interested in discussing it. We're still doing things. And
Will it dry up one day? Maybe, but it hasn't yet.
yeah,
If
no,
not,
I'm sure it will. I mean, I still don't really know what the TTV channel is going to do when I'm done with the reviews.
yep.
So, who knows?
Who can say what the future may bring? But I'm pretty happy with how the year's going so far. In an absolutely horrible year that's awful in a lot of ways, Bionicle community is doing pretty good.
Yeah. So, it's very interesting.
With that being said, go ahead and hit us with some questions
Yes.
from YouTube chat, patron chat about the subject matter or not. Doesn't really matter. And we will answer some.
People are still bringing up issues they have with the contests, and it's driving me nuts.
Read one out, Eldra. What's the issue?
Well, so I can't read it because there's nothing really to read. They're still not happy with a voting system. Are you friggin' kidding me? We're not doing this. They posted like 2 videos, and let me see. Okay, one of them is 6 minutes long, and the other one is 4 minutes long, so I'll watch those later. See if it really just changes my mind.
Boy.
Sorry.
That one kid asks, how's life? Life is good, man. Life is good.
I'm tired.
Actually, no. Life is not good. But you make the best out of what you can.
I go to work.
Lemonade out of lemons.
My shift starts in 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jake Stillwell, hail Jan Messa. Can you guys say happy birthday to me? Because today is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday happy, bruh.
Oh my gosh. You just have to go against the grain.
You know it. Sir LeJohn, what facet of the community has impressed you the most with its tenacity? Mocks, comics, fan art, fanfics, etc. Well, the part of the community that's always fascinated me the most was comics.
Yes.
But I don't know if I would call that tenacity because they've basically died out. But in terms of sheer ingenuity and its unique subculture, the Sprite comics community was always the best. I know Vin is still making some on the TTV message boards.
Yes, he's
That's
still
like
doing comics.
Tangentially Bionicle. You know, V3 or V4 he's on now.
Mm-hmm.
Has symbiotes in it. But if you guys want to check out an example of how things used to be, go check out his comics. Tenacity, I mean, the mock community is the most thriving. I think that's fair to say, which it's always going to be the case because it's a Lego property. So
Yeah.
mocking comes naturally.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that sparked it to keep going is the advent of digital building. LDD was good. Studio is way better. Studio combined with Shapeways and the advent of 3D printed pieces is just a great, great injection of life into that entire medium, which is one of the things that I was most passionate about when I was advocating for the inclusion of 3D printed pieces and to a lesser extent digital building in the contests, because I think that's a big facet of how the community is nowadays.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
What about you?
Oh, gosh. To this day, that's really hard to say. I mean, it's hard to get past mocking, because mocking is just still the overwhelming majority of Bionicle content. I mean, I'll say content creators, such as people that make videos. Maybe. Like, there aren't a lot of them, but there are still enough of them that I mean, it's hard to say because outside of mocking, there isn't a whole lot that has persisted that also isn't in some way related to us. Like, I can't say Bionicle podcasts because most of them have died. Like, we're the only Bionicle-centric podcast. Well, I say the TTV podcast, but we only do episodes of that when there's an anniversary. It's the only one that's persisted for a decade. Like, all of the other ones have run for a few years, and if that, and then that's it. There's just nothing more. So,
John, what's impressed you the most in its ability to be unaffected by the various cancellations?
I mean, everything got affected by the various cancellations.
Yeah, there isn't really one more than others. Like, there's not one that really took that big of a hit over other creative facets, if you know what I mean. The only one that was not affected equally was mocking, and that's because it got off easier than most people because, I mean, there was still a construction theme to get parts from up until recently anyway. So, like, it's not like the mocking community just died when G1 got canceled because Hero Factory came out and it supplied new pieces. If anything, that might be the thing that takes a hit nowadays because there is no construction theme. And that might be the one I guess I would be most impressed in because it's been able to achieve new life thanks to 3D printed pieces and studio. So I guess in that way, it's still mocking.
Yeah. I would say maybe one other thing that has persisted regardless of our involvement would be reviewing. People still make set reviews on old sets just to give their thoughts on them, which is fantastic. Like, you're never going to hear me say, we've got enough. We're good. We know the sets well enough. Like, I will always advocate for more reviews.
I mean, there's always things that people can pick apart and offer their own perspective on things.
Exactly.
To find things they appreciate or find problematic. Case in point, our next question on the YouTube chat. Oh my god, I am on fire asks, what's some small issues with Bionicle set design that bug you specifically? Mine is the loss of eye color variety in the later years. And that's one I don't often consider, but it's very true. They just kind of stopped making blue eyes.
Yeah.
Basically, completely. It became green or red. Green or red.
Green or orange.
Green or orange, my bad. Transparent, fluorescent, reddish orange.
Yeah, whatever. No, okay.
That's a good one. I think not to step on LJ's toes, but red and blue pins.
You're not stepping on my toes, though.
I was. That's like your thing, man.
No, I don't know why. It's like it's. This is a thing that's going to drive me nuts eventually. Everyone's like, "Oh, LJ hates red axles and blue pins." It's like, no, I don't, because everyone they watch my recap reviews, and because I keep mentioning them as a potential issue people would have, it's like, oh, he must hate them. Nope, I can acknowledge that they're bad. They're not good things. Like, they suck. They also don't really affect my opinion on anything. It's like, I kind of forget people watch the recaps in a binge. Like, I did not design them to be binge watched. I designed them to stand on their own. So if you watch one, you don't have to watch another one before it to understand. But most people watch them all at once. So they hear a lot of repetitious complaints.
That's fair.
So, anyway, yeah, I think one of my underlying issues would probably be, and this is kind of a weird one, the recurring head redesigns. We didn't need that. We really did not need that. We could have stuck with one or two, but they kept on changing, and I don't really know why. Like, the Avtorin head is one of the worst. It just sucks as a head.
Yeah.
Like, it was completely unnecessary.
I agree. For me, it actually would be red and blue pins. I was never a fan of them. I think it really broke up cohesion.
How dare you?
If I had to say, like, small issues, I mean, like, all my big issues I've talked about at length, you know, one of which you know very well, that being the Avtorin build and the decline in creative builds over the years. But
that's fair.
Small details, I agree with eye color and yeah, red and blue pens.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Sir Perry donated a super chat of $1.99. He said, "Meso, can you read what I added you in the Discord?" It says $20 to whoever can draw big green pointing a ghost blaster at Messinac.
Fair enough.
Boy.
Good luck to the
And
winner.
then Tucker's channel of random things gave another 20 crones and said, "I would argue the collecting community still lasts." I mean, yeah,
that's fair.
I don't often consider that as a subset of the community, but so long as there are sets to collect and misprints to chase and rare parts out in the wild, there will always be that element of discussion. Some things are closed off to people, like the Platinum Evoke.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of it.
Yeah, like, there's only one of those, so good luck, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was a question from Sharnak, who on the YouTube chat, who posted, "Do you think 2005 would have worked better if it was a sequel to 2003, featuring the Toa Nuva returning to Machinui instead of shoehorning in a prequel? Something I've been thinking about." Absolutely. Because 2005 is just the awkward year, where it should have had another year to it, or it should have had another year before it. Like, it happened too quickly, and it didn't add enough. But that's kind of something we can get into later, like in its own episode.
We definitely do a whole episode about 05.
Yeah.
Short answer being yes, but you'd have to find something to do with the Matoran. Like, either leave them on the island or find something to do with them, because the Matoran were kind of the whole point of, 05.
Yeah. Pretty much. There's another one I wanted to ask. Ah, dang it, he deleted it.
Oh, no.
I remember it, though. It's David225 asked if we don't have to answer this if we didn't want to. But why do we have a beef with the Bionicle stop-motion community?
Oh, boy.
We don't. Not that we're aware of. There's one stop-motion animator who... I was going to say something incredibly rude. He doesn't like us. He's also... He has the maturity of a 13-year-old. So...
And he's attracted to being mentioned like a moth to a flame, even if indirectly.
Yeah.
So while we won't say his name, he usually will find a way to be summoned to wherever the source of discussion will be.
Yeah. You guys are talking about me? I know you're talking about me. Listen, I'm going to say this once for all, okay? Yada, 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 yada. And he's like a little gremlin. He just waltzes on in. Like the leprechaun from that horror movie Leprechaun. That's like how he is. He just walks on and like, "Hey, guys, what's going on?" And he just looks hideous. But that,
But on the whole, zero problem with stop motion people.
yeah,
Metro Movie Legacy, Little Brother Studios, Noah Productions, the guy who made Bionicle Ignition War, whose name escapes me at the moment. Borok 321, just to name a few.
yeah,
Tons of other people, like literally zero beef. It's all cool.
yeah. It's not like we dislike stop motion animators. We never had a big focus on that because no one in our group really got into that. So it's why it was never really represented on this channel. We also never felt the need to represent it on this channel because a large portion of the Bionicle YouTube community they're already stop motion animators. Like we are definitely, our content style is an outlier in the community, or at least it was at the time, because everyone was already doing stop motion. That was the big deal. So for us, it never needed to be a focus. And some people kind of saw that as, "Oh, we are stop motion animators. We've been here since dirt, and now you dare to exclude us." It's like,
I promise it's not the case.
yeah, no, that wasn't it. So if there's a beef, we're not familiar with it. There's just one guy who, gosh dang, I have a lot of quips that I want to say, but it would be crude and rude and not worth the air.
Gear Bricks asks, do you think CCBS would have been introduced had G1 continued beyond 2009? I don't think so. I think CCBS was a creation that could not have arisen without a change from the Bionicle status quo. If you know what I mean, because it was directly in relation to creating a new system that was independent from Bionicle, that had its own design ethos and modularity with itself. If Bionicle had continued past 2009, then it would have meant that the current trajectory was fine and things were cool as they were, and they probably wouldn't have shaken up the aesthetic too much because it was all supposed to be connected, unless they did a new planet or a time skip where they're like, okay, hundreds of years later, everybody looks different. But I don't think we would have seen it except for Hero Factory.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to suggest.
Yeah. Sean Diol says, "Do you guys like Bionicle?" Nah, I'm
Sometimes.
a Hero Factory fan.
Sometimes.
Sharnak, how strong are the non-English Bionicle communities? I thought there was a large Russian base, but that was back in the G1 days. There definitely is still a large Russian base.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that with 100% certainty.
It's very difficult for me to say because the Bionicle community is definitely large in its English speaking community, and I, not being a part of the other ones, I cannot say for sure. I think there is definitely still a strong and dedicated French community along with Russian.
Oh yeah, Bionifigs.
Uh-huh.
They are big.
I think after that, potentially German, though again I'm not sure. So it's really hard for me to say.
Yeah.
So.
I realize that nearly all characters in the Bionicle universe are considered cells that work with the Motonui robot. How would you consider the Paraka in a manner of cells, or even the Baraki?
They've been described before, but I don't remember how. And I honestly haven't given a whole lot of thought to trying to compare all of the different Bionicle species and how they interconnect with cells in the body. I really couldn't even begin to.
I mean, I don't think of it strictly in those lenses, so I can't really answer your question. Those by Flamingo Creations, by the way. But I can ask, my own question, which is that, like, what is their function? Not even in terms of a cell, but like, why do they exist? Period. Because this was a discussion that we had a lot when we were doing Brickonicle, and it bears repeating because people wanted other races in Brickonicle. They're like, we want some of the old Bionicle characters to come in. We want Titans. We want crazy species. And we're like, what would be their purpose? In our theme, we could do whatever we want because it wasn't going to be inside a robot. But drawing inspiration from G1, looking back at G1 and these characters and species and races, and trying to think about what their purpose was in the world versus what they would be in our reboot, we kind of realized that a lot of them were just pointless in G1. A lot of them were just created either for rule of cool design or just because they wanted characters that didn't fit into the Toa Matoran Rahi Makuta design template. I don't really think there is a good reason that people could have as to why we have so many species.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think that's really the answer there. It was just they wanted a bunch of different characters that did not fit into those pre-established 3 species. And they continued to not fit into anything. Because can you really say that Brutaka and Axon, being biomechanical, are the same species? Like, can you say that you can say that some of them are? Like, you could make the argument for the Shadowed One, Rudaka, Voparak, and basically anything with a Vaki head being of a similar species or the same one. Like, they aren't, but I don't know why. Like, Sidorak, he can be his own. You could even put Sidorak in a category with something else, but, they're so different, but they're also not Toa.
It gets really hard to fathom when you start to think about all the different species in Bionicle G1.
Yeah. So.
It's really, really hard to fathom. Swirt, just remember, Sidorak and Kreka are from the same island, but still not the same species.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. This is correct.
G1 was weird like that.
Yeah.
NG Clayton says, am I the only one that likes the Agori/Avmatoran builds? No, but you should be. Moving on. No, I'm kidding. You like whatever you want, dude. I just will never agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
No, it's just, yeah. No, you're more welcome to enjoy them, but they are not popular, and there are very good reasons as to why.
Eric555, why 2 cancellations? Is the recent hype canceled? No, we're talking about G1, which was canceled in 2010, and then G2, which was canceled in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Perry, another super chat, $3.99. No bad, LJ. 2005, fine.
No. No. Talk to, if you really need to learn why it's not, talk to Swirt before we do our episode.
Yup. I'm going to flip it back to the patron chat for a question Sakota asked a while ago. It says, what differences and similarities do you see between the Bionicle community back then and Ninjago today? And how do you think it will affect those communities in the long run?
Well, outsider's perspective looking in, the Ninjago community has no central place to be. Like,
Nope.
Even the Bionicle community is a little more fragmented than it was. And there's some pros and cons to that. Like, BZ Power was always the central pillar of the Bionicle community, so when it went down, like, the entire community splintered. Now, there really isn't a central spot. There are larger areas. There are more centralized places. But with Ninjago, they don't even have that. They just have social media platforms. Like, they just have Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook. Like, there's no one spot for them to go. And so when if Ninjago just dies, if it evaporates, the community just all crumbles from there on. It's already split off, and it's just going to evaporate. Because there isn't one central place bringing everyone together. It's just all going to wither.
What you have are Discord servers and personalities. You have people like Joshua, like Marvelous Jan, in the Ninjago community who are active. They're like leaders. They spearhead like creative stuff and artwork and discussion, but they do it in a very, 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 very limited sphere, namely as far as their own personal influence will reach. But you're never going to see something like, the different subcultures of BZ Power, because it does not exist and it will not exist. It's always going to be fragmented, and it will always have a harder time surviving in the event of a Ninjago cancellation because of that. I'm not saying it's imperative go make a forum now, because honestly it's a little too late. You can't really do that at this point. You have your own momentum, and it's going to take you in whatever direction it'll take you, and I hope for the best. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Oskabot asks if you could choose one arc from Bionicle to add an extra year to, Golden Years, Metro Nova Ignition, or Bar Magna, which would it be? Well, like we said a few minutes ago, I think 05 could benefit from another year to like set it up or whatever.
Yeah, 05 or 04 could benefit.
But Bar Magna needs it the most.
I agree.
An extra year for Bar Magna would have done wonders.
Yep. No, absolutely. I'd much rather have a weaker middle as opposed to a just terrible ending. Well, sorry, a massively lackluster ending.
Terribly terrible.
It's not a terrible ending. It's a lackluster one, as opposed to having. Sorry, I think I completely screwed up on that sentence. I'd rather have a weaker middle portion and a great ending to a great middle portion and a mediocre lackluster ending. Right now, we just kind of have both. We just have the weaker middle portion and a lackluster ending. But I would definitely put that extra year at the end as well.
Yeah, like, it's just about character screen time, because, like I've said in the past, if the Glatorian had an extra year, then they would be treated on the same cadence as the Anika. They would have the same amount of screen time. Nobody would really care as much that they were part of the final battle, because for all intents and purposes, they're part of their roster. Versus how it actually is, which is, hey, we barely met these guys, and they're taking all the screen time from my beloved characters. I'm going to do a few more and then wrap up. Here's not a question. It's a comment, but it's nice. So I'm going to read it out. Oh my god, I'm on fire. Says, you guys have basically reignited my love of the franchise, honestly. So thank you for that. Ended up buying some of my old sets as a result. Makes me happy. I'm glad that's still going on. Welcome back to the franchise and the community. And it's David225. How would you guys have done 2010 and ended Bionicle if circumstances permitted? Talked about it before. TLDR. I would have had the Toamata and Takanuva work to destabilize Makuta from the inside, distracting him and allowing Madanue to get the finishing blow. Basically unchanged, except just cut the golden armor and keep the focus on the Toamata.
Yeah.
Literally all I would have done. You can even still have the friggin' Rakshi pour out the foot hatch if you really want to, and have the Glatorian still fight. But instead of merging the Toa with the Glatorian and looking for MacGuffin, just create something for the Toa Nuva to do from the inside. Like, oh, I don't know, we must cause a distraction in the central processor.
Or maybe if we get up, or maybe they don't even know he's fighting Matanui. Maybe they're just like, if we get up to the core processor, we can do Nova blasts and sacrifice ourselves and save the day. And they get up there, and Makuta obviously doesn't let them do it because he controls everything. But in that moment where his attention's diverted, trying to stop them, Matanui is able to shove him into the planet. Like, that's all. Just change the variables, and I would have been totally happy.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Just give the Mata something to do and have them do it together.
Yep.
Flamingo Creations, how did you feel when it was revealed that the great beings were just a few random Glatorian? Was it what you thought in your head canon, or did it ruin things for you? I don't really have an opinion. I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, see, I never saw this as an issue. That's it.
I get why it's an issue for some people, taking away the mystery, but at the same time, there were only two other possible options, that being they were some other race, which we would never learn anything about and never know anything about their purposes. So it would kind of be a non-reveal, or they're humans, which was the crackpot theory everybody always had.
I would have hated that.
Which people would not have enjoyed.
Yeah.
So making them Glatorian is, at the very least, it keeps the cohesion. Because, I mean, it explains why they were on the planet. It was their planet. They were just smart scientists. They were creators. So, if anything, I like it.
Yeah, no, I think it's the best.
And I think... Okay, wait, no, there's like two more questions, and then we'll close. Jake Stillwell, Messa and LJ, I have a pop quiz Bionicle question. Who is Morak? Isn't he the Hydruka?
Yeah, it's the, I'm gonna say...
Red Hydruka, maybe?
Blue Hydruka. Let me see.
Red or blue?
Let me double check real quick.
It was blue, you're right.
Okay, yep. Yeah, and
Well,
the red one was Thulox.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
Oh my god. Fire. Oh, go on.
I just kind of pulled that off the top of my head.
Nice.
God.
Oh my god, I'm on fire. Is LJ terrified of doing a remixed review for 2010 because all of those sets will basically self-destruct when he tries to build Gardas?
It's all done. The review is the video has been filmed. Like, I need to just edit the skit's done too. I just need to edit it all together and make an audio track for it, but it's done. It was entirely filmed at the Bionicle Archives.
That's awesome.
Yep. So we're good. That's kind of why I went. So that one, all of 2008's review is done. 2009 done. 2010 done. And some of 2007. So I'm going to have a much better time this month as opposed to last month.
Wonderful. And the last question for the day will be from Dark Nova 3529, who asks, should Ninjago get a year off and come back as Ninjago 2? I can't tell if it's a joke or not. I think it might be. But I actually have a serious answer. That being, I don't think it should get a year off, but I think it should become Ninjago 2. By which I mean, they need to, and I might get flayed alive for saying this, they need to go the route of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. They need to have a time skip. They need to have a new cast. They need to have the old ninja be around, doing things, and helping them. Maybe with a better role for them than the old cast got in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which was hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But as it stands, I think we've taken the characters as far as they can go. If anybody who watched our Prime Empire and even the Fire and Ice chapter Ninjago casts, I'm not saying this is universally agreed on as law, but generally speaking, a lot of the characters feel very samey in terms of their dialogue and in terms of like the arcs they go through are either retreads of their old arcs
or half-baked and not really as deep as they used to be. The reason being, we've explored these characters very well by this point. Bionicle had multiple different groups to tackle, like 4 in total. Ninjago has 1. And there's only so much mileage you can get out of these people. They need new characters. But I don't want to reboot.
Yeah, no, do not do a reboot. Reboot will destroy it.
Yeah.
Don't do a reboot.
You need to keep continuity, but make new characters. You don't have to do this by way of a time skip. There could just be another team. There could be just other characters that take over the mantle. But I think people would like it a lot more if the ninja were still relevant and if they were still characters versus just going off in some other corner of the world or some other group and just stopping following the ninja. I'm not saying they have to be like the ninja's kids. That might be like a little bit too fan fiction-y. But I definitely think the ninja should be in more of a sensei style role, helping a new generation. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
that's about it. All right. Well, thank you all very much for coming to this Knack and Jay. Capped at just around 2 hours, which is what I predicted it would be.
Fair enough.
I thank you all for listening. I hope you all took something from this. LJ, hit us with the plugs.
All right. Again, thank you very much. Don't forget, head on over to TTV message boards at board.ttvchannel.com. Got a bunch of good stuff happening. Make sure you are 13 years or older and follow the message board rules. We have some really good stuff, such as the Canonization Contest happening right now for Toa Hellrix. Bunch of rules regarding that as well, so check that out. Additionally, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/thettvchannel. Donate as low as $1 a month to join the festivities, including our Patreon Discord server, as well as our Minecraft server, where you can explore the islands of Matanui and Voyanui with more to come. Additionally, head on over to Twitter at the TTV channel, at Messanak, and at the LJ Johnson, JOHNSEN. And don't forget, BioCup 2020 is happening now. They have a new theme with a bunch of whole new stuff happening for round 1. Check that out. It ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on June 11th. Definitely check that out as well. BioCup 2020 on Flickr. And that's it.
All right. I like doing positive episodes every now and then, even though there was some Faber sprinkled in. But overall, I really like all you guys, even the people who hate our guts.
I like most of you guys.
You're cool too, haters.
No,
Complain about the
no.
contest more.
Haters, you need to find a new day job. You need to find something productive to put your energy toward. You're wasting your energy. That's it.
And Sir Perry, thank you. You're basically like our sponsor at this point. It's very much appreciated. Like, I don't know, it's difficult to quantify how much like YouTube has fallen from grace over the years, as far as like, you know, just ad revenue in general. It's appreciated because we do have a lot of expenses, like with the boards. We're having to do like a board upgrade to stop like, you know, login and registration errors, and like it helps a lot. Honestly, super chats and Patreon, it's very much appreciated, and it helps us keep doing the things we're doing. Not to mention the Minecraft server, which we had to pay a bunch for to upgrade its space.
Mm-hmm.
It's really helpful because the days of making money on YouTube or through ad revenue are basically over.
Oh yeah.
So thank you very much for all of your support. That being said, LJ, music time. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all next week. I'm Mess Up.
I'm LJ.
Streaming to you from the Golden Beach. This was Knack and Jay.